Hi, I'm Susan Keefe from Rhubarb Cod, and today I'm overthinking dinner rolls. Today is Canadian Thanksgiving Monday, which I like to think of as the official kickoff to the holiday season. From here until January 1st, we have a marathon of feasting ahead. And while our Thanksgiving is just about in the rearview mirror, my American viewers are probably just starting to plan theirs. Now, there are all sorts of culinary touchstones on a holiday table. There is, of course, the turkey, the mashed potatoes, and the stuffing. But when I was a kid, I was all about the dinner rolls. Bread wasn't something we served with every meal in my family. In fact, I only remember rolls being served on some sort of holiday table. And as an ardent bread lover from day one, I was more than happy to fill up on the bread. So today we're going to focus on the dinner roll, and we're going to do that by making a batch of my favorite milk bread. You've seen this recipe play out in my Turkey Katsu Club video. If you check out that video, it will show you how to form it into a loaf for sandwich bread. But today I'm making a double batch to show you how you can get 3 different dinner roll configurations from the same dough. So if you want to make a rational amount of bread, say 18 to 24 rolls or a single loaf of bread, cut the following measurements in half. Or if you don't feel like doing math, check out my website for the proper measurements for a single batch. Start by pouring 615 milliliters of 2% milk into a small saucepan. Place over medium-low heat and heat until lukewarm, like a bath you've spent way too much time in. Sprinkle 30 grams of active dry yeast over the surface of the milk and let sit for 10 minutes or until foamy. Give the mixture a quick stir before pouring it into the bowl of a stand mixer fitted with a dough hook. Add 60 grams of honey, 4 teaspoons of kosher salt, and 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour. Set the mixer to low and mix until a loose dough forms. Once the dough starts to come together, add another 1.5 cups of the flour. Repeat these steps until about 6 cups have been added. From here, you'll have to assess how your dough is looking. If it's cleaning the sides of the bowl and is only slightly tacky, you've added enough flour. If it's still quite sticky, add your flour in 1/4 cup increments until your dough is in a good place. It's a lot easier to add extra flour to a dough than extra moisture, so it's better to always err on the side of too little flour. And your dough doesn't have to be perfect at this point. We're going to finish it off by kneading it by hand. Now that the flour is in, we're going to start integrating the butter. Cut 1/2 cup of softened unsalted butter into cubes. Add 2 to 3 cubes at a time and mix until the butter is fully integrated before adding more. Once the butter is integrated, it's time to knead. Transfer the dough to a well-floured surface and sprinkle the top with a little extra flour. Knead the dough for 7 to 10 minutes or until it feels elastic and smooth to the touch. Form the dough into a ball and transfer it to a well-oiled bowl. Side note, this bowl was not big enough. I knew it at the time, but I did not listen to myself. Cover the dough with a little plastic wrap or tea towel and set aside to rise for an hour and a half, or until doubled in size. Once your dough has risen, return it to the counter and remove the plastic wrap. As you can see, my bowl was, not up to the task. Grab your kitchen scale and punch down the dough. Now, in order to show you the wide variety of configurations you can achieve with this dough, I divided my dough into 3 equal-sized pieces. You don't have to do this, just choose your desired shape and proceed to the next step. So let's talk about the 3 styles of rolls we're tackling today. The first is the Parker House roll, which is probably the most famous. Parker House rolls get their name from Boston's Parker House Hotel, where they originated. The story goes, an angry baker who worked at the hotel threw unfinished rolls into the oven after an altercation with a belligerent guest. It seems all the world's classic menu items were created by flustered and/or hot-tempered chefs. As with the Caesar salad's origin story, I'm inclined to take this tale with a grain of salt. While it is very likely true that the Parker House roll originated at the Parker House Hotel around the 1870s, the rest of the story is a titch suspect. Incidentally, the Parker House Hotel is also the birthplace of the state dessert of Massachusetts, the Boston cream pie. But I have a feeling that will be an episode unto itself. To make the Parker House rolls, divide your dough into small balls. I'm gonna have a lot of trouble. There's a lot of balls ahead.
Hey.
To make the Parker House rolls, divide your dough into little balls, each weighing in at about 30 grams. Cover the dough with plastic wrap to prevent it from drying out as you work. Using a rolling pin or a dowel, roll each ball out into an oval. Brush the top of the dough with melted butter and fold it over onto itself to form a seal. Transfer the buns to a large baking sheet lined with a silicone mat or parchment paper. Make sure you give the buns 2 inches of space on all sides. Cover the buns with plastic wrap and leave to rise for 45 minutes to an hour. They should puff up but not completely double in size. When there's about 20 minutes left in the bun's rising times, start preheating your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. This goes for all the roll formations I'm going to show you. So that's the Parker House roll. Now let's move on to the Cloverleaf Roll. Sorry, if that is its real name. Cloverleaf Roll. Start by greasing a standard muffin tin with melted butter. Divide your dough into 50-gram balls. Then divide those balls into 3 smaller balls weighing in at about 17 grams each. I just said balls a lot. Place the balls inside one of the muffin cups and repeat with the remaining dough. Once all the cups are filled, cover with plastic wrap and let rise for 45 minutes to an hour. And finally, we have the least labor-intensive iteration of the dinner roll, the pull-apart rolls. So we're gonna start by greasing an 11 by 7 inch casserole dish with melted butter. Divide the dough into 50-gram balls and place them in the casserole dish. Now, the success of this recipe relies on the buns filling the space they will be baking in. So if you want to make more than 12 buns, you may have to upgrade to a 9 by 13 casserole dish. You can also bake these guys in a cast iron skillet. Once again, cover the buns with plastic wrap and set aside to rise for 45 minutes to an hour. Now it's time to bake our buns, and they all bake at the same temperature and for relatively the same amount of time. But before you put your buns in the oven, you have to glaze them, and you have some options here. An egg wash will give your buns a glossy appearance and a slight crust, but it won't add much in terms of flavor. A butter or milk glaze will give your buns that golden color, but not the glossiness. And a butter glaze will add more flavor than either an egg wash or a milk glaze. Since I was already all in with butter, I went with a butter glaze. And was I happy with the results? Well, yes and no. The food stylist side of me really missed the glossiness, while the eater side of me was more than happy to consume more butter. There are so few win-win situations in life. Once all your rolls are glazed, transfer them to the oven and bake the Parker House rolls for 25 minutes and the Cloverleaf and pull-apart rolls for 35 minutes. Make sure you rotate all the rolls halfway through their cook time to ensure even browning. Once all the rolls are golden, let them cool for 10 minutes in the pan before transferring to a cooling rack and letting them sit for at least 15 minutes. Serve the rolls warm or room temperature alongside salted butter and honey. And that's everything I could think to overthink about these dinner rolls. I hope you give these ones a go, and if you do give them a try, let me know how it went in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to this channel. I post a new recipe every week and a ton of goodies along the way. Thank you for baking with me. I'll see you all again soon.